Yo, what's good YouTube? We're back with another My Team video, and in this video today we're basically going to be going over some of my best recommendations that I have for the Amethyst tier for cards in Limited. Now the thing about these cards specifically, even with the Ruby video that I made, is that you can use these cards in Unlimited as well, or pretty much any other game mode, and still have very good success with these cards. And that's why I'm going to be suggesting these cards to you. But more so importantly, I know a lot of people, have trouble picking cards for Limited, so that's why I titled the video that way. That's why this video is built in that manner. Now, because we are in the Amethyst tier, more than likely I'm not gonna have every single Amethyst card that are the best in the game, so keep that in mind when it comes to this video. If I fail to mention to mention some of your favorite cards or any cards that give you success, make sure to comment that down below. Obviously I can make a part 2 if you guys want, and I will continuously be updating these type of videos as more and more cards come out through the year. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it in my suggestions for the Amethyst tier for these cards. So first up at the point guard position, we're going to be talking about Fred VanVleet. He does have Giannis base, and I don't know what it is about it on this card, but I do not mess with Giannis base on this card. I don't know why. Giannis base seems very, very cash, but he does have an 83 3 ball. Just keep in mind that he cannot dunk, he can speed boost. He's got a good enough steal, perimeter defense, and good enough speed and all that good stuff to provide what you need at a point guard as an Amethyst. He even has clamps. I mean, he has good enough badges. I wouldn't recommend badging him out at this stage because he is so outdated, but he still is a really solid point guard for you guys to run as an Amethyst. Moving over to the shooting guard position, another shooting guard that is still really, really good. I know I said another, this is the first one, so forgive me for saying that, but Donovan Mitchell is a really, really good card. 86 mid-range, 83 three-pointer, 90 drive and dunk, above an 86 ball handle. Look at his defensive stats. I mean, literally all his defensive stats at shooting guard is above an 80. Basically above an 80. That's insane for a shooting guard, and he's really, really fast with good lateral quickness as well. And I mean, look at the badge count. If I had to just take a guess, I'm not gonna add up all these, but I'm pretty sure he has upwards of almost 60, if not 60 badges. And he just does it all. If I'm being 100% honest, Donovan Mitchell does it all. He basically has every badge for every situation, at least on bronze, and that's pretty much all you need when we're running cards in Limited. So definitely a solid recommendation that I have for you guys. Now, a really solid small forward is this Macau Bridges. The only thing that he is really good at, that I find him to be best at, is 3-and-D. He is a 3-and-D cone. He's got an 89 3 ball. Obviously he has an 80 drive and dunk. He doesn't have the ball handle to quite speed boost stock, but if you have a coach, have guys with floor general, he'll be able to speed boost. I don't know what his dribble style is, but whenever I did use him, he didn't really seem like it was anything of that importance. But look at his steal, 94 steal, 90 perimeter defense. If you want a guy to stick on ball, Macau Bridges is your guy. Especially playing lanes, he has Hall of Fame interceptor. That's all you need to know really about this card. He's got all the defensive badges you need. Can get limitless spot up as well, and definitely has good enough badges to be a serviceable card as an Amethyst. Now, if you guys have been around my channel, you guys know that Josh Smith is one of my favorite cards in the game because he plays above his stats, if I'm being 100% honest. Do not be fooled by the 74 3 ball. He has Brook Lopez base, so the next card that I'm going to be suggesting after Josh Smith also has Brook Lopez base. So if you can time that, you should be able to time it on this card as well. He does not play like he has a 74 3 ball. Trust me, if you can get that timing down, it feels like he has an 80. I'm gonna be 100% honest. With a 90 drive and dunk, obviously you can't really handle the ball, but look at his defensive stats. Basically everything in the 90s, if we're being 100% honest. With defensive leader, if you have somebody with defensive lead on your team, he's gonna have above 90 in all stats. Look at his rebounding, got good enough vertical speed as well. Basically you can run him as a center. I know he is only 6'9", but trust me, this card is really, really cracked. Now, the guy that I was referring to that has Brook Lopez base as well is Splash Mountain. That's what I like to call him, Kristaps Porzingis. He has an 82 3 ball, 75. Forgot what I said, so I'm going to say it again. He's got an 82 3 ball, 75 drive and dunk. Can't really handle the ball, but obviously he's going to be that tank kind of player where he can play on the inside and really hold it down for you in the paint. Obviously, he is going to be pretty slow at the center position, so just keep that in mind when you do run this card. But nonetheless, he is a great option for you at the center position if you want to have a guy like this at your center position. Now, a card that did come out last season, so if you did not play last season, if you did not unlock this card, I really do apologize, but it's a card that's good enough that I just absolutely cannot not put him on this list. You feel what I'm saying? So he's got an 88 3 ball, can't dunk, similar to a Fred VanVleet, has 89 ball handle. Look at his defensive stats, good enough on the perimeter to get it done, and very quick on the speed and lateral quickness and things like that. And I mean, look at his badge count as well. He has around 50 badges, and a lot of them are gold badges. So if we're being 100% honest, this is probably one of your best options at the point guard position. He can really do it all for you. Another great 3-and-D option is going to be Bruce Bowen. You can get the signed or unsigned version. I actually have both in my collection because I did pull one. So, I mean, he gets the job done. He has 89 3 ball. Obviously, his driving dunk is good enough to dunk the ball. Ball handle, not really that important because, again, he's a 3-and-D guy. But look at his steal, perimeter defense, and interior. He doesn't have that high of a block, but that interior will get you a lot of flukes in the paint. Trust me when I do say that. He basically has maxed out perimeter defense. Obviously, his speed is not as high, but his lateral quickness, he makes up for it with a 96, which is basically 99 because you're going to have somebody with defensive leader or floor general that can boost that up. And even your coach could probably boost that up as well. He does have 2 very important Hall of Fame badges in corner specialist and clamps. And I mean, if I'm being 100% honest, you can really run this card stock and just happen to be a solid 3-and-D guy at the 2 or the 3. Very great option for you. Another great option at the small forward position is going to be Kawhi Leonard. Now, I'm absolutely waiting for another Kawhi Leonard to come out because this card, if you know, it's similar to LeBron, like I was saying in the last video. This card gets so many crazy animations, it's not even funny. It's got Ray Allen base with an 83 ball, 80 drive and dunk. Obviously, his ball handle is not high enough, but it's good enough to, you know, he's not going to fumble with the ball, but I definitely wouldn't recommend running your offense through him. But he does. It's weird that he has such a low steal, but his perimeter defense is high and his interior is high. So, I mean, he's going to get you stops if I'm being 100% honest, and good speed, good lateral, all that good stuff like that. And again, similar to like a lot of the cards in this video, he has a very high badge count and is definitely a very solid option to run at the small forward position for you guys. I do think he's still not necessarily a top card in the game, but he can definitely still be ran in some lineup. A first in the series, I think is one of the first actually, is Token Reward Serge Ibaka. I also can recommend another token card for you guys. I will show that later in the video. But as far as a power forward at center, Serge Ibaka was in people's lineups for months after the game started, and I still think he is a very good budget option for you guys. Obviously, he's not, you know, he can't buy with MT. You guys can get him with tokens. You're gonna have to grind up to the Amethyst tier, but once you get there, he is a very solid option for you guys. He's just gonna be very slow, so just keep that in mind when you're running Serge Ibaka. His badge count is really low because he did come out at the beginning of the year, so just keep that in mind as well. A card that's coming in from the Domination Rewards is going to be Amethyst Draymond Green. Again, he is pretty outdated at this point. Badge count is pretty low, but he still can get the job done for you. Got an 83 ball. His release is good enough to green that. 75 drop and dunk, 77 ball handle. His defense is basically all in the 80s and good enough speed and things like that to honestly be ran as a small ball center. I would just recommend Josh Smith over this card, but if you don't have Josh Smith and you want to get Draymond instead, go ahead and do that as well. Now, another card that did come out last season, so actually I think this was season 1 if I'm being 100% honest. This card is basically this Amethyst James Harden. It's basically the diamond one, just with a couple of less badges and a couple stats lower. This card is still really good. I really can recommend it. If you guys have it in your collection, please run this card if you are looking for a shooting guard. Honestly, he's really a point guard if we're being 100% honest. You just run him at the 2. You can run your offense through him, and I promise you, he will get the job done for you. I promise. Now, if we're just talking about pure shooters, Kyle Korver is the absolute definition of that. It's got a 97 3 ball. I mean, need I say more about the card? I mean, even his defensive stats are actually pretty solid for him to play good enough defense to keep him on the floor and not have to necessarily hide him. His speed is just pretty low, so just keep that in mind. Just know he's going to be able to shoot the lights out. He does have I believe base 17, and that's the same one that Gus Gerard has, that like Hondo has, and it's a really good card, really good card to, you know, if you need shooting on your team to be able to have. Now, two cards that I can actually recommend at the exact same time is going to be Jrue Holiday and Brandon Ingram. Now, the thing about it is they have a duo, but because these cards base, I think they both have base dribble style, or they both just don't have shifty or quick, if I'm being 100% honest. So you're going to have to run a shooting guard that can handle the ball, because neither of these guys can handle it. But Jrue Holiday can be an absolute clamper for you. Brandon Ingram can be an absolute bucket for you. Two very different cards, they do play different positions, but if you run them together, they can be really nasty as a combo. And I know their badges get upgraded as well. So I'll show you guys the duo just real quick, and then we'll move on to some more cards. So looking at the duo for Jrue Holiday, obviously look at his boosted stats. Those are really good stats to be boosted up. His perimeter defense even gets boosted up as well. And I think he does get some more badges as well. I don't know which specifically ones they are, but I mean, at the end of the day, he's getting good badges that are being upgraded. Now for Brandon Ingram, again, similar to a Jrue Holiday, he has very key stats that are enhanced, that do get upgraded. A lot of these mental stats don't really matter, if I'm being 100% honest. It's more of a focus on these stats up here. And I do know he gets a couple of extra badges as well. Now, I'm just gonna glance over some of these cards because there's so many great Amethysts. John Havlicek is another great option. Scottie Pippen is another great option for you guys. Chris Middleton, Gary Harris, Jordan Poole, Doug Collins is a card that we did get this season as well. And I mean, you really can't go wrong with a lot of these Amethysts in my collection that I'm showing you guys. If you guys want me to, you know, go in depth more on these cards, make sure y'all run the likes up and we can make it happen. Moving over back to the token market, another great budget option for Amethyst is going to be Danny Green. The most important thing is that he has Hoff clamps. A card that has Hoff clamps as an Amethyst that you can only get for 30 tokens is an absolute steal. With a 93 ball, 70 drive and dunk, got a good enough ball handle to have it boosted up. And look at his defense. Great defensive card, and has a great release to be able to be competitive as an Amethyst with limitless spot up. He's got all the necessary badges to be a great guy to add to your team. And last but not least, in the iced out promo, we did get this Paul Erizan. You can get either this one or the NBA 75. The only difference is that the NBA 75 version does get every badge, this one does not. So great card to pick up for you guys. As you can see, just comparing him to Michael Redd, he has very comparable stats if we're being 100% honest. A couple of his stats are a little bit lower. Obviously his interior and block isn't going to be as good, but he is a better rebounder and only slightly slower than Michael Redd. But he does, his release is 100% it's just chicken, if I'm being 100% honest. So if you guys can use this card correctly, and if you want to badge him out, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want to badge him up, you can, and it will pay dividends for you. And the last card I'm going to suggest for you guys is Walter Davis. If you guys don't know, this is a T-Mac clone. He just is 6'6". He has the exact same animations as T-Mac. So if you want a card that is basically, I would say 85 to 90% of T-Mac, I would definitely recommend getting this Walter Davis. He is a great budget option and a great Amethyst to run for your team. Now, that is going to do it for the Amethyst players that I would recommend running in limited. If you guys, again, if I skipped over a card, or just, you know, you have better suggestions, definitely leave them in the comments. I definitely want to see, you know, how the rest of the community is feeling about this, how my subscribers are feeling about this, and all that good stuff, man. So if you guys have any better suggestions or just any cards that I forgot, make sure to drop them in the comment section. Other than that, we're gonna see you guys in the next video. Appreciate you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.